Welcome everyone to Marketing Tips Tuesday with PracticeFuel, the 9-step system that will show you everything you need to know to use the internet to grow your practice. My name is Brian Devine, and today we are talking about how to be the obvious choice in your market for Invisalign, implants, braces, whatever it is you want to be known for, and maybe you want to be known for even more than that. So you might be thinking, well, how do you do that? It's simple. Be everywhere all the time. Now, you're probably asking, how? Okay, I'm glad you asked. This is something that used to be very time-consuming and challenging. And we've reached the point with technology now where it can be done with the press of a few buttons, and then it can be automated from there. It is really an incredibly powerful way to be seen as the authority, the obvious choice in your market. Now, how are you going to do this? The easiest way is to what I call start with your frequently asked questions, your FAQs, and this is important, your SAQs, your should be asking questions. Those are all the questions that you know people should be asking you about your services that they're not. And it is hopefully something that sets you apart from everyone else in the market, or at least you get to be the first one to say it. So if there's something that you do in your practice that is very special, that maybe half of them do, right? Half of your competitors do or less. If you're the first one to talk about it and you make sure that people know that that is important and it is a huge part of what you offer, then you have set yourself above and beyond the rest. Again, it doesn't have to be something that no one else does. It just has to be that you said it first. Think of the old marketing from Schlitz beer. I mean, this is obviously a long time ago. But a marketing consultant went in there and said, well, tell me all about the beer. And they're talking about all these things. And then finally somebody, he said, well, where do you get the water? And they, from this spring. Well, tell me about the spring. It was this whole thing about this clear spring. And it was just this great water. That's part of why it tastes so good. Well, he said, okay, well, we're going to focus on that. And they're like, well, but everyone uses that water. It didn't matter. They're the first ones to say it. And then if anyone comes along and says, well, yeah, well, of course we do that too, but they don't make a big deal out of it. They look like just a Me Too person. And that's how you can stay in front of the market. So if you can come up with even 5 frequently asked questions and 5 should be asking questions, or if you're like, well, I know at least 10 or 15 frequently asked questions, I only can think of 2 or 3 should be asking questions, that's fine. As long as you do a few that are going to set you apart from the rest of the market, or at least you're going to be first to talk about the advantages and the value of something that you do in your practice. Number 2, you can either write that down or you can film it. It really doesn't matter which you do first, because if you write it, then you're going to turn it into a video. And if you're not comfortable on camera and you don't want to be on camera, no problem. You just turn that content into video so that you have that in 2 formats. And if you're good in front of a camera, you're comfortable in front of a camera, that's even better, because yes, when you get to look into a camera, it feels like you are talking to the person who is listening, and therefore it will have a higher impact and a better value. So if you can start with video, it's better, but you don't have to. So you take your video and then you turn it into you just have it transcribed. So you now have the written version. So now no matter which way you go, you're going to have what you need. Then you're going to break that up into tons of little pieces of content. So memes, quotes, anything that you can just kind of extract from what you have to make it a simple, easy, and quick thing to digest. And so now we've got all of this great content. Well, what do you do with it? Well, place it everywhere. And I mean everywhere. So you might be thinking, oh, well, we don't have Twitter. Nobody's really paying attention to us Twitter. That's fine. You still want to have it, because if someone should find you there, great. And what you are doing is you are saying to the market that you are everywhere, that you know what you're doing. You are the expert. You are the obvious choice. So you are on, all that content's on your website. All that content's on your Facebook. It is on YouTube. It is on Twitter. It is on Instagram, TikTok, any place else that you want to be, and you want to be seen as the expert. That's where you put your content. Now, here's the cool part. There are the software that will do all that for you, so that you can just say, okay, we've created this content, and now we're going to load it all up into the software, and we're just going to make sure it goes out to all of these different venues over and over again. And by over and over again, I mean, yes, about every 120 days or so, you recycle, because the average person isn't going to remember anything that you've put out 90 days ago or more. So we like to push a little bit further than 90 days, just in case people have a great memory. But there's so much content that is being pushed out to people on a regular basis that if you recycle, you start over at the end of 120 days, no one will know it but you. And if you are like, I'm not so sure about that, well, then just when you take your content, you move your logo into a different spot or whatever it might be, just to make it slightly changed, slightly unique. What you're doing is you are making sure that no matter where somebody is and they look up information about your service, they find you no matter where they are. It is a very powerful way to be seen as the authority, the obvious choice, the expert in your market. All right, if you have any questions about it, let me know. We call it, what do we call it? It's the OmniPresence System. So let me put that up here just so you have a little context of where we are in the 9-step process. You'll see it's right there under the fuel stage, the OmniPresence System. It works so well. It just amplifies everything else that you're doing so that it is really fun, really effective, and it is absolutely worth your time. And if you're thinking, I don't have time to create all that content, so just pick one day this month, or June, right? So we're at the end of May. So June, pick one day in a month and do 2 or 3 of them. And then start that process. And then, one more day a month later and do, 4 or 5, because you're going to get better as you go. And again, especially if you're going to do this on video, just do a whole bunch and then you farm it all out. You don't have to do it. And if you don't have anyone on your team that's capable of doing it, there are people like us. There are people on Fiverr. There are lots of ways for you to get this content turned into lots of pieces of content that you can then push out over and over again. And if you have any questions, need some help, let us know. We're here to help and do whatever we can to support you because, hey, that's what we do. All right. I think I've covered everything for today. And let me know if you need any help. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Marketing Tips Tuesday for Practice Fuel. That's it for me. Bye for now.